Here's a quick tip for Inkscape users. This isn't a design technique, rather a tool that I find useful. Let's say you have a customer that wants a design you've never cut, and they want to know the shipping weight, or the weight, hanging on their walls. Sounds crazy, but I get that question actually quite often. Or you're trying to estimate shipping costs and would like to know roughly what it's going to weigh. How do I find the actual square foot or inches of material on a design like artwork? It's easy if you have a 12-inch by 12-inch square. That's easy to determine what your actual area of material is. But something like this cat that I have displayed on the screen, how do I know how many square inches or square feet of actual material I have left after that's cut out? Good news, Inkscape has a tool just for that. So what you'll do, I have this design opened up in Inkscape. If I select the design, you have to have it selected, and it has to be a path. If I draw a square and I don't convert that to a path, it won't actually measure it. It has to be a path. So I have this design, and I want to know how many square feet of material am I using here. I have a 24-inch wide design by 17.9 inches tall, but I'm not actually including all that material because I'm cutting away a bunch. So what you're going to do is you select the design, go up here to extensions, and drop down to visualize path, and then come over here to measure path. Now once you go to measure path, it's going to pop up this box here, and you can measure the area, length, center of mass. I want to know the area of material that I'm using there. And then the only options I usually mess with here is the font size, because if you leave that small, when you hit apply on this, it's going to put font on the screen telling you how many square feet this is. But if that number's set really low, you're going to have to really search around to see where that is. And sometimes if it's the same color as the design you're working with, it's hard to find it. I mean, you can drag a box and figure out where it is. But anyway, I go with font size 120. Seems to work pretty well for the average design, so I can find it. And then the only other thing I adjust is the precision. Default, this is set to 0, which basically just means it's going to give you whole numbers. Setting it to 1 will give you 1 decimal point. Setting it to 2 will give you 2 decimal points of accuracy. So I find 2 decimal points, that's plenty accurate for estimating the weight of a sign. So I have my font size set to 120, the precision set to 2, and I want to know in square feet how much material I have here. You can do it in square feet, inches, millimeters, whatever works for you. For me, square foot's what I'm looking for. So now all I do is hit apply. You can see it ran there. Now I can close this, and as you can see here, it spit out a result that this sign has 1.22 square feet of material in that design. So now if someone's asked me, what's the weight of this sign, I can hop over here to Google, which I've already pulled it up. Google, say for instance, I'm using 16 gauge steel. The weight of 16 gauge steel is 2.5 pounds per square foot. So now I can go back to Inkscape. I take my result there, 1.22 square feet. I times that by 2.5 pounds, and that's going to give me a result of 3.05 pounds that this design is going to weigh, which I would probably tell the customer roughly 3 pounds. Now, I absolutely wouldn't tell a customer 100% that it's going to weigh the result that I get with this. This is going to give you a rough idea, but I would probably say roughly 3 to 3.5 pounds, depending on finish. If you add powder coating, that's going to add a little bit of weight. Plus, you got to figure for variance in the steel, in your cuts. So I wouldn't give the customer 3.05 pounds exactly is what it's going to weigh, because it's going to vary a little. But anyway, that is a great way for finding the area of a design like artwork, where you don't have just a 12-inch circle or a 12-inch square. Something like this, you need to find the area of to calculate the weight. That's the easiest way to do it. And when you do the extension, visualize path, measure path, and click apply, like I say, sometimes when you first use it, it'll have maybe your output up in there. Just drag a box around your design there and you'll see where it is, and then you can click it, drag it out. And then of course you don't want to leave this here because you're not going to be cutting that. So after you get your output and figure out what your area is, just select it, backspace, delete it. So anyway, I hope that helps some people out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.